guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to my channel. I am Masande and this is Masande's Way. Guys, thank you so much for all the love that you showed my first video. Thank you for all the comments, the likes, the shares. Thank you for subscribing to everybody who did, and to those that haven't, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. But yeah, today I'm back with video number 2. It's video number 2. I'm back with another video, and for today's video I'm going to do a bit of a chit chat with you guys. Yeah, I feel like just exposing a bit of my heart today. I don't know why, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna expose a bit of my heart, just sharing with you guys where I'm at in life now, the things that I'm going through, the things that God is doing, and the things that I'm working through. So yeah, without wasting any more time, let's get in. Let's get into my hearts. Okay, so like the title says, I'm going to be speaking about what it felt, or what it was like starting over in my 30s, what that experience has been like for me. And yeah, I really wanted to share this because it's something that has been on my mind. It's something that I've been talking to a lot of people about, and it's something that I feel like a lot of people might relate to, and if you don't, I hope you learn something from it, or take whatever you want from it. But yeah, starting over in my 30s was incredibly hard. This is probably the hardest journey I've ever been through in life. So I think that's why I really wanted to share it with you guys. But yeah, just to backtrack now. So in my 20s, I was having the time of my life. 20s for me, I spent majority of it in South Korea. I had the time of my life in South Korea. I had so much fun for all the years that I was there. I was traveling, I was meeting new people, I was having just awesome experiences. And so in my mind, I thought that going into my 30s, I was going to go in with a child. I was going to go in with a marriage. I was going to go in with a career. I was going to go in with owning things, you know. I thought that's how I was going to go into my 30s. And that was not my reality, child. That was not how things were looking for your girl. Nope, it wasn't. And so I really had to start over in my 30s. Moving to Cape Town at 30, I moved with nothing. I had nothing. I just had a little bit of a savings, and that's it. And I had to start from scratch, and I was 30 years old, and that was hard. I felt so disappointed. I felt like God hadn't met his end of the bargain. I felt like I had served. I had moved across oceans. I had, went across the world to follow in his purpose, to follow in his leading in my life. And I felt like his end of the bargain was to get me married and in a job and with kids by the time at least I was 30, child. And I felt like, God, you are just not meeting your end of the bargain in this situation. And so I was so disappointed, and I was so disillusioned with life. And I felt like such a failure in so many ways, because you look around and the people that you started life with, the people that you went to school with, they are living what you thought you would also be living by that age, And your reality is that you are single, you don't have kids, you are not married, you don't have a career. That's your reality. And I couldn't deal. I couldn't handle it, because I just felt like that is not how things were supposed to be, God. And you have let me down. You have disappointed me. You have not worked things out for my good. You have not been true to your word. And so I spent 30 and 31 just living in a lot of disappointment, and living in a lot of just refusing to come into grips with my reality, because I felt left behind, and I felt exposed. I felt like people were looking at me and being like, that's not how her life is supposed to be looking. That's not how she's supposed to be at this age. She should have it figured out by now. And I felt that, and I think it was a pressure that I was putting on myself that was unnecessary. And honestly, I don't know if that's what people were thinking, and I don't care. But at that point, I really felt like that was what people around me were thinking. Um, and so I forced myself to go into corporate. I forced myself to go into a career that I didn't want to go into, but I felt like at 30, girl, you must have something figured out. So if you have nothing, at least have a career figured out. So I went into immigration. I worked in immigration, which I just did because I have, a degree in that field. But it was never anything that I really truly wanted to do. And so I struggled with that in that year. And it was at the end of that year that I felt like, you know what? I am tired of living based on what I feel like is okay for my age. I am tired of living based on what I feel like is expectations from other people. Yes, I am 30. Yes, I should be A and I should be B, but I'm not. I am not. I don't have it figured out. I don't know what career I want to go to. I don't have the answers to all the things that I should have at 30. I just didn't have it. And so I had to first acknowledge the fact that this is where I am. I don't have the answers. I don't have it figured out. This is just where I am. And so I think in that moment of just accepting that, okay, this is actually my reality. I don't have kids. I don't have a husband. I don't have this. I don't have any of it. And that is my reality. And I think the minute I accepted that, the minute I sat in it and felt like, okay, God, I feel like you've disappointed me. I feel like you haven't met your end of the bargain. I feel like I have served. I have done all of these things. And you haven't rewarded me for those things. And then I had to go like, okay, then does that mean that I was serving because I wanted rewards? Was I then serving because I felt like if I serve, then God is going to meet me in this way and in that way? And I had to own that. I had to get to a place where I had to own that, okay, maybe that was in my thinking, and I'm disappointed now because I did feel like, okay, if I serve in all these ways, then surely God is going to meet me in all these ways. I had to own that. And then I had to own the fact that, okay, that this is my reality. This is where I'm at. I'm in my 30s and I don't have it figured out. And I think once I worked through that, I started to own my 30s and be like, okay, so for me, 30s looks like starting over. 30s looks like figuring it out, For other people, they have it figured out in their 20s. They know what careers they're going to go into. They know who they're going to marry. They just have it figured out. For me, this is the time. And who said you must have it figured out in your 20s? Who said that by the time you get into 30 and 31 and 32 or whatever, you have it all figured out and you know who you are and you know where you're going and you know all these things? Who said all that? Because listen, that's not my reality. That's not my life. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm not doing this video because I feel like, okay, now I'm 33 and I have it all together. No, I'm 33 and I'm still trying to figure it out. But I'm okay with it. I think the difference is that now I can be 33 and without all these things and be okay. And be like, okay, I'm figuring it out, I can serve God and serve him fully without the expectation that in return, God, you are going to do X, Y, and Z for me, That's where I'm at. I'm not at a place of I've figured it out. I have it all. I'm at a place where I'm like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is my reality. And I am going to live fully in my reality. And so even going back to school at 31, that's a choice I had to make. It wasn't easy to be like, okay, I'm going to quit this job. I'm going to quit what looks like could be a secure career path. I'm going to quit that and I'm going to go back to school and study events. Yes. That was me at 31. I went back to school. I studied events because I felt like that's what I truly wanted to do. And even in doing that and finally feeling like, okay, now I've figured it out. Now I know what I want to do. I'm on a path to doing, my life career. and then having that taken away from me, and then having COVID be like, no, sis, no, you know. And even then having to feel like, okay, I felt like I had started, I felt like I was on a journey to figuring it out, but now I have to backtrack and start again, you know. But I'm so glad that even this time, feeling like I have to start again, it was okay. Like, it was okay, because for me, I refuse to have that pressure of, this is how your life is supposed to look. Says who? If it's not God saying it, then says who, you know? So I never want to live my life with that pressure of, this is how things should be. Yeah, you know, I often ask myself, like, where did this pressure of, by the time you are 30, or when you're in your 30s, you have to have it all figured out. Like, where did that even come from? Who was the one that stood and said, by the time you are 30, you must be married, you must have a career, you must have this, you must have achieved this? Like, who was that person that said that, you know? Because I think so many of us feel like, if we are not at a certain place by the time we are 30, then we haven't lived right, we haven't made the right choices, we haven't achieved, we haven't succeeded. And that's not fair, because our paces are all different. Our journey and our story is different. So why should then my 30 look like your 30? You know, if your 30 looks like marriage, kids, career, then that's great, that's awesome, I celebrate that, and I'm so happy that that's where you are in life right now, you know. But if your 30 doesn't look like that, then that's also great, you know, because that's where you are in life, and that's your portion, and that should be okay. So I think I'm finally at that place where I'm like, you know what, my 30 doesn't look like your 30, my 30 doesn't look like the 30 I had in my own head, but that's okay, because I can still make it into the things that I wanted, you know. It's not too late. I think there's just this feeling of always feeling like, oh, it's too late. Like, even like the whole biological clock thing, and just feeling like, oh my gosh, if I don't have kids by 33, then, you know, my eggs are gonna be fried, and I'm just gonna be that's how I feel. That's how I've been feeling. But you know what, I encourage myself by reading up on other women that are having kids in their late 30s, that are having kids in their early 40s. That might not have been the plan that I had for myself, but if that is my reality, then I need to be okay with that. I need to get to myself to a place where I accept and live fully in the reality that I have, you know, in the life that I have. So I just hope that, you know, if you're watching and you're feeling like you're not measuring up to where you should be because of your age or because of whatever it is, I really hope that you are able to go through a journey within yourself, where you allow yourself to just be okay with where you are, you know, and being okay with where you are doesn't mean now you relax and you just like, it's fine, I'm just, you know, there's no pressure, because who put the pressure there anyway? No, it's just to say, listen, this is where I am, and I am okay with it. I am riding with where I am, and I'm gonna work to get myself to the places that I want to be. I just wish that we could just all be a little kinder. Okay, so we've reached the end of this video. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please don't forget to do so. But yeah, from me, Masande, until next time, it is a bye-bye. Blessings, you guys.